All right, everybody. Glad everyone's here to join us. My name is Adrian Carmona. I am an intern for the Varsity Sports Show from the University of Florida here in lovely Gainesville, Florida. And today I am going to be hosting your Varsity Live post-game show. If you were here earlier for the pregame show, we're basically going to be giving you the updates of what happened in those games that we previewed earlier. And I'm very excited to be joined by a lot of guests who will be sharing their post-game reports on a lot of great football that's been being played on the West Coast area, specifically Arizona, Vegas, and a lot of different places. So, sorry, dealing with a little bit of a sickness, so I have to have the water on me. But once again, very happy to be here, joined by some people who will be giving you some amazing, awesome content for their post games. So, honestly, let's just get right into it. So, first, we are going to be joined by Nicholas Anderson. He's going to be giving us a summary on Vegas football. Nicholas, how's it going?
How's it going, Adrian? I'm doing well.
I'm doing well.
So tonight in Vegas football, we had a good amount of games tonight. No bigger game than the one and only Bishop Gorman, number 5 in the country, going up against the number 2 team in Las Vegas, Liberty Patriots. With the Patriots, with a 1-4 record this year, it wasn't supposed to be a good game, but it was surprisingly a good game. They gave them a good fight, but in the end, Bishop Gorman being the powerhouse team that they are, they came up on top. Another good game tonight, was Foothill versus Desert Pines. Foothill improves to 5-0 on this season. They've become a sleeper team here in Las Vegas, and they're showing why that they could compete potentially with Bishop Gorman this year and give them a good fight. Legacy ended up beating up on Sierra Vista. That ended up being a really good game. And then last but not least, I think a team that should be talked about, Durango. I personally commentated a couple of their games. They ended up beating up on Boulder City.
All right, good stuff, Nicholas. A lot of cool games coming out of there in Vegas.
Absolutely.
Awesome to hear. Well, thank you so much, Nicholas, for your post-game report. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely, Adrian. Take care.
All right, so that was our first guest, Nicholas Anderson. Once again, I want to thank him for joining us tonight. It is 1 o'clock a.m. for me over here in Florida, but always love staying up late, listening about some football from these great guests who are joining us. We are going to go over now to Cooper, who will be joining us from the Horizon post game. He's going to be giving us an update on what happened in that game. So, Cooper, how's it going?
How you doing, Adrian? I'm sorry to see that you're not feeling well tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. That Gainesville sickness is going around like crazy, but I'm lucky to be one of the few
Yeah,
not
sir.
as sick as others.
Hey, that's all that matters. Well, my game, Horizon, they've taken on the Pioneers, Pinnacle Pioneers. It was last night, Thursday night, and it was a fantastic matchup. Fireworks. It was military night. They were bursting out fireworks, but there was fireworks all over the field too. 54-51. Horizon ended up losing on a last-second touchdown. There's 10 seconds left in the game. Pinnacle, little 5-yard rush, got it in. Huskies end up losing against their 6A rival that they were hoping to take down. They lost the last 2 matchups, the last 2 years, and they were so close to getting this one last night, and they just couldn't get it done. The hurry-up offense was kind of messing them up. Wyatt Horton for Pinnacle, he was dotting up all over the field. He was looking like a quarterback that's probably going to be playing at the D1 level here pretty soon. But for Horizon, it was Jace Ashley. He threw for 4 touchdowns. Bodie Zamorano, he went down with injury. He had 7 touchdowns this season, and he's like their big star running back. But he went down with injury about midway through the first half, and it was Johnny Issett who came in and played a great game. He had a screen pass that he took for a touchdown. Next man up mentality. That's what it all comes down to in high school. And I felt like Horizon, even though we came away with the loss in this one, they showed that they're one of the better teams in Arizona, and I expect some great things coming from them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. Really, really interesting game that happened over there. Um, that sounds like good some good stuff.
Yes, sir. And just a little extra stuff. Jordan Partridge, one thing about Horizon is every time on special teams, They took it 40, either the 45 or longer. Either got past the 50. Every single return seemed to go for a big game. Pioneers were having a hard time stopping them in the return game. Jordan Partridge had a lot of good returns and made some big plays in the passing game as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a performance from him, honestly. What a performance. Well, Cooper, that's it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Get better, Adrian.
All right, awesome stuff there from Cooper. So now we're going to go transition over to Bella, who is going to be giving us a post-game report on the Cactus Shadows game. Bella, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. The Falcons won today 55-22 against Boulder Creek and had an amazing run game. Both teams did, but ultimately Cactus Shadows came up on top. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Who were some of what were some of the highlights of your coverage?
Donovan Dixon scored multiple touchdowns rushing, and there are a few guys on Boulder Creek who did a good job. Carson Cornell, for example, he got 2 touchdowns tonight in the first half, and it was a big run game for the quarterbacks.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Glad to see you're over there too, with the coverage. Awesome to see. Thank you so much, Bella. Hope you have a good night.
Of course, you too.
All right, and that again, some of the stuff that's going on in Arizona and the Vegas area. A lot of stuff just going on as we wait for some of our guests to join. Just to give you a little bit of background on me, if you have not seen before, this is my first time doing the Varsity Live post-game show. I'm currently interning with Varsity Sports Show from UF, from the lovely city of Gainesville, Florida. Lovely, I say with quotation marks, but at the end of the day, it's my college town. I'll take it. So one of our guests now, the very talented Griffin, he's going to be giving us the report on Palo Verde. Griffin, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Adrian?
I'm doing great.
Sick.
Great.
So, I just got done doing play-by-play for Palo Verde versus Tanca Verde. It was a big blowout. Tanca Verde won 56-12. That was the final score. It was a bit of a slow night, I'm not gonna lie. Tanca Verde controlled the ball on both sides, and Palo Verde just could not stop their momentum. Quarterback Rocco Haggard, he was very relaxed, very comfortable throughout the game, and he had a solid performance, and his offensive line was very solid, allowing him to have a lot of time to really extra time to throw the football. And I think that's really what allowed Tanca Verde to just dominate and get this win. They were just way stronger on the line of scrimmage. Also, our player of the game was number 17, Dylan Lewis for Tanca Verde, who had 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a lot of receiving yards. Also, I want to shout out running back number 24, Delon Harrison, who had a great game last week against Coronado. And this game, he had a touchdown and the majority of the rushing yards for Tanca Verde. And then also on the Palo Verde side, because why not, I'd like to shout out number 2, Julian Blackburn. He was really good for Palo Verde, even though they were struggling. He got a really big pick 6 right before halftime, and that kind of sparked the team a little bit, but they couldn't really do anything after that. But yeah, so that's pretty much my report.
Yeah, awesome. Football is one of the trenches, and you kind of described it right there. Dominating from the line of scrimmage, that really just, boosted them through the entire game. But yeah, thank you so much, Griffin. Hope you have a good night.
Yeah. Of course, you too, man.
All right, and that was Griffin giving us the post-game report on Palo Verde. Once again, some very interesting games going on, as you can tell with him. A lot of games being controlled at the line of scrimmage, as you said there. Palo Verde really just controlling the line of scrimmage from the first snap. Always love to see that. Some other interesting college football news. Illinois, number 24, just upset Nebraska. In Nebraska, 31-24. Very interesting game. but yeah, Luke Altmaier outdueling or outdoing Dylan Raiola from Nebraska. Very interesting game right there. A lot of people saying that Dylan Raiola is really just trying to copy Patrick Mahomes. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of see it, but at the end of the day, Dylan Raiola is, still really good. So I can see why he might take some of his stuff from Mahomes. Just kind of also interesting, makes you feel old, really, that people are now going to be growing up with Patrick Mahomes as your idol when he was drafted just in 2017. So, really makes you feel old. But back to what I was saying about Florida, a lot of interesting niche stuff going on, especially with the football team. Um, right now we're 1-2. Unfortunately, expectations were a little bit higher heading into the season, but yeah, we started off with a home loss, complete blowout loss at home, honestly, to University of Miami. Cam Ward just completely ran all over us all game. It didn't look like there was any kind of resistance from UF's defense. Um, but yeah, and then the next game, that game actually, Graham Mertz, the starter, ends up going down with an injury. So then the next game, uh, DJ Lagway, the true freshman, has to come in against Samford, which was a very impressive game for him. He set the UF single season record for passing yards, or single game record for passing yards by a true freshman. So that was very impressive by him. Sorry. And then Graham Mertz comes back from his concussion, and then now it's all of a sudden a quarterback battle. Billy Napier decided to play both of them against Texas A&M. Didn't work. Once again, you have just lost at home. When you start your first 3 games off at home, you really should win at least 2 of them. But unfortunately, the Gators just weren't able to do that at all. And it's led to a lot of controversy. They haven't even discussed with Billy Napier what his future holds. Who knows? This game tomorrow against Mississippi State could be his last game coaching for Florida. And I mean, if it is the end, it is a shame because he is a great guy. It's just unfortunately he might not be the guy for the Gators. You could see even the last game against Texas A&M, as he left the field, he was getting booed at relentlessly by fans. And honestly, I understand the frustration. The Gators are actually on the verge of having their 4th straight losing season since the 30s. So when you're coaching for a big SEC school like that, there's just always that added pressure on. So unfortunately, that's the pressure he's feeling right now. But yeah, and other than that, a lot of stuff just going on around around the league, or not league, but around different areas of the country. I just got off of hosting Varsity National Live, and that was very interesting. Getting to see how different high schools around the country are, and now we're actually going to be joined by Paisley, who's going to give us the post-game report on the Saguaro game. Paisley, how's it going?
Hey, how are you, Adrian? Good to be here.
I'm doing great. Glad you're here.
Yeah, so I was on the sideline tonight. Obviously, ending score, 2 touchdowns for the SaberCats tonight. One by number 12, Aiden Whitaker. He had some great passes tonight. Obviously, 1 touchdown. And Zealand Danielson, the quarterback, he just improvised and scored a touchdown in, I want to say, the 3rd quarter. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Wow.
it was, yeah, and I felt, great atmosphere at Saguaro. Saguaro is a championship team, or they have been. And they are 0-4 now, but, the energy and honestly, the passion that head coach Darius Kelly has just given to them, it's really obvious, and it's a great atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like a great atmosphere. I've heard a lot of great things about the team there and kind of the atmosphere that's brewing over there for that team. And glad to see that you're able to experience that over there.
Yeah, I was on the sideline tonight. Got to interview Aiden Whitaker. he thinks they could come back and like have a potential playoff run. Coach Darius Kelly just really wants to, you know, have them become men on and off the field. And it's a really great time tonight, you know?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Paisley, for your post-game report. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian. Have a good night. You too.
You too. All right. Yeah. So Waro is such a very interesting school, especially now with Darius Kelly being the first-time head coach. Former player for Syracuse, actually. I had the privilege of interviewing him for the radio show, the Arizona radio show, a couple weeks ago, and he just seems like a very genuine guy, someone that really looks out for his players and is really just teaching them how to be good players on and off the fields. I'm truly am wishing the best for him over there tomorrow. And now we're going to be joined by Perrin. He's going to be covering the Desert Vista game. Perrin, how's it going?
Going pretty good. So I just came back from a Desert Vista football game, and it was a pretty interesting game. Started the quarter, it was 10 to 14. So I thought Desert Vista was going to come back, but halftime Hamilton just got the lead.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I like your room, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of decorations. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be basic. I just like the atmosphere. So have to have something when I come home,
Yeah, I mean, my back wall is a little bland. I got to get some stuff going on there, but glad to see you're taking advantage of it over there.
Yeah, so there was a lot of plays with the defense. There's a play in the third quarter where this guy blocked a punt, ran it in for a touchdown, which that was Hamilton, and then Desert Vista came back, intercepted it, and then ran it back to the 50, and then it was just like it was off and on. We thought Desert Vista would come back, but after the third quarter, just nothing really happened after there. It was just a blowout. But yeah, Hamilton looks pretty strong. Their head coach likes to take everything serious. Where when I was on the Desert Vista sideline, the coach was Coach Mack actually. He would tell the coach, he would tell all the people, just like telling them to step it up and everything. Where over there in Hamilton, they're actually yelling at the players and making sure that they're on top of it.
Yeah, sounds like a good culture over there. Definitely seems that way. Glad you were able to be there on the sideline for that. That must have been really fun.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty interesting. It was my first high school Friday night, so got the experience on the sideline, and it was pretty fun. Got to hear everybody. Got to see how all the play calls were going. But yeah, that's how the game went.
Awesome to hear. Well, thank you so much, Perrin, for joining us tonight. Hope you have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Yeah, first time being on the sideline for Friday Night Lights could be a little hectic. I remember when I was in high school, I was announcing the high school games when I was still back there, and it was really fun. But sometimes those games get hectic, especially with the student life. It can just get really crazy. But moving on, we are going to be joined now by Kavish. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there. He's going to be giving us some Campo Verde post game. So hello.
Hey Adrian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Yeah. Well, it was a great game. I mean, Highland won pretty handedly. I believe it was 35-3. But it was a great game. I mean, I think you hear that score and you think it was a shutout, which I mean it pretty much was. But I think Campo Verde actually played better than what you'd see on the stat sheet. I think their offense was pretty good. Their defense their offense kind of put them in tough positions defensively. I mean, there were numerous Highland drives that started in the opponent's across the 50-yard line. So their offense didn't have a ton to do, but. I think, yeah. So one, I'd say there was highlights to take away from Campo Verde, but I would say that Highland's defense was phenomenal. They really, Campo Verde wasn't having much success running the ball, passing the ball. Their quarterback for Campo Verde, Trayson Shahan, he had a pretty good game, but I mean, all of their success on offense was from scrambling plays. First downs he picked up with his feet, but I really thought Highland's defense was the main story.
Yeah, so, I mean, holding a team to 3 points, I mean, usually you're going to win a game just off that alone. But, you know, very interesting running all those scrambles, those options. Just seems like it was a very well-rounded win for them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Their defense was phenomenal, like I said. Their quarterback, Kalen Fisher, had a pretty solid game. He played well, but he was really. I don't want to limit it to a game manager, but that's really all he needed to do. Their running game was really good. They had a kind of a trio: Cash Allen, let's see, Peyton Gill, and Cruz Colomore. All those guys were playing phenomenal. The offensive line was opening up holes for them all day. There's not much you have to do on offense when you're given, second and twos. It just makes it easy for you at that point. So I thought Highland had a really solid game. This is kind of what everyone expected. They're ranked third in the state for a reason. But I thought they had very solid performance on offense and in a really exceptional game on defense.
Interesting. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the 49er teams recently, where they really just don't ask a lot of their quarterback, but they're really just getting to those like second down and shorts, and then just like handing it off to Christian McCaffrey for like 15 yards. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. But
no, you're 100% right. Now that I think about it, it's actually a really good analogy. Their defense was lights out. Running game was, working whenever they needed it to. And, when you have both those going, you don't need to do too much. And, Campo Verde struggled, but, it was a great night of football. Fans were out there. It was a good night. Great night to be commentating.
Yeah, always love Friday Night Lights. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Well, thank you so much, Kavish. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it. See you later.
All right, and there we go. I kind of just thought about that 49ers analogy right off the fly there. I just kind of felt right to mention that. Speaking of the 49ers, the fact that Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for a little bit, very interesting to see that. Sorry. Wow. I was not expecting that cough rain to just show up right there. Yeah, a lot of cough drops I have been taking the last 2 days. Wow. But yeah, very interesting to see Christian McCaffrey now out for multiple weeks as we get ready to introduce some of our final guests here. But other than that, I kind of want to give a little bit of a spiel on what's going on a little bit in my state for high school football. Florida high school football is just one of the craziest things. There's so many professional NFL players now that have played in Florida. Teddy Bridgewater was from Florida. Dalvin Cook, current Cowboys running back, went to high school in Florida. Lamar Jackson, probably the biggest name right now, came from Florida. And it's just very cool to see. Actually, Teddy Bridgewater is coaching Northwestern down in Florida. That's his alma mater. He retired from the NFL this past year, and then now is coaching that team, and they look really good right now. Other than that, a lot of good games happened in Florida. Chaminade, they're ranked number 5 in the state, and they were coming off of a thrilling 48-45 win last week, and then this week they defeated the number 11th ranked team, Norland, 45-20. So very good resume they have now early in the season to be ranked number 5. So and it's interesting too because Chaminade's quarterback Preston Wright has been starting the last 3 games for them, and you would think that he's been the starter for the entire season the way he's playing. He's totaled almost 1,000 total yards now. About 600 total yards now with the team since going under center, and he has 6 total touchdowns, including 4 in that 48-45 win I talked about last week. So, other than that, a lot of people know about IMG too. IMG has just been on a roll lately. Very interesting to see how their season has gone so far. They lost the first game of their season in an upset loss to Corner Canyon, and it was very interesting because IMG was up about 21 points and then lost. So very demoralizing loss, but they've won every single game since then, including some blowout victories over ranked teams like Coco. Sorry again. But yeah, they've just turned their season around, and it has been very, very impressive to see. And take a look at this score, 54-51. Coco, as I was talking about earlier, they lost to Venice in Florida. They lost 54-51 in an absolute thriller. Venice went down, kicked the game-winning field goal late in the game, thanks to a long game-winning drive, and just very exciting stuff. And as we have one of our guests here, DeWitt, he is going to be covering the Brophy post game. How's it going?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. That was a crazy game that we just attended right there. It was a 24-20 down to the wire game, but Brophy came out with the win.
Wow. 24-20?
Yes, sir. It started out back and forth, honestly. Brophy's offense didn't get it going a lot in the first half. The Brophy offense was actually they had 2 turnovers. They went into the half down 13-10. And their actual starting quarterback, Rylan Umfrey, he broke his ankle. It looked like he was on crutches in the second half. So their backup, Case Vandenbosch, came in. It's more of a 1A, 1B committee with the QBs. So he had experience. He came in, did the job. Late in the fourth quarter, they went up 24-20. The Perry Pumas had a chance to come back for a game-winning drive. They ended up throwing a game-ending pick on the goal line. It was number 0 safety James Pike who got that pick. So it was an insane atmosphere. Number 4 versus number 11, very, very highly contested. A lot of plays made, but it was definitely one for the books.
Wow, that sounds like a... And were you covering that game live?
Yes, I'm actually here with my color analyst right here, Mr. Q. But yeah, it was a great game. We were on the call together, calling it for Brophy on the Brophy sideline. So we were in the Brophy atmosphere. It was very jubilous. A lot of excitement after the game.
Oh yeah,
they started off 4-0 on the season so far.
Wow, that's awesome. Very exciting game. I bet it must have been awesome calling that.
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, for me, this is in Gilbert, Arizona. So if I'm traveling all the way out here to call the game, at least I hope that it's going to be a good game. And tonight's game definitely delivered. A lot of momentum shifts, a lot of back and forth action. So it was definitely a great one. It was a great test for Brophy too. But they came out victorious in the end.
Yeah, awesome to see. Thank you so much for your post-game analysis. Glad to see it. Hope you have a good night.
Appreciate it. You too. You too.
Wow, an absolute thriller over there for Brophy. Another one of those big high schools over there in Arizona. Great game there. Glad to see he was actually in the car with his color analysis. I think that was great. But yeah, as we wind down to the latter half of this show, once again, just a lot of stuff going on with all these great games going on in Arizona. But yeah, as I was saying earlier about the 54-51 game, kind of insane how that went down. It was very back and forth the entire game, honestly, back and forth between these two great schools, these two great teams. Brady Hart and Javon Boggs are 2 of the best quarterbacks and receivers in high school for Florida right now. They've been such a great duo. It kind of just reminds you of they just have so much chemistry with each other. It kind of reminds you of what Mahomes and Kelsey have, except it's not quarterback tight end, it's quarterback receiver. Just one of those tandems of just instant chemistry every single game. They connected for multiple touchdowns once again. And it was just a sight to see. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough because Venice just had a different gear going forward. They really dominated the run game, and I think that's what really won them the game at the end. they went on this game-winning drive, and it was highlighted by a huge run from Dorian Irving-Jones, the running back, and that kind of really sealed it for them. And yeah, it was just a very good sight to see. I'm glad to hear from all of the post-game reports we've seen from this area of the West Coast. And as we transition to our final guest of this post-game show, we're going to have Kaylee Sumner, who is going to be sharing with us the Mountain View post-game report. Kaylee, are you there? As we sorry, we'll just be waiting for because of some technical difficulties, but yeah, she's going to be giving us the post-game report on Mountain View as we wait for her to join. Once again, I want to thank everyone who has joined thus far. Long show, but I hope everyone's gotten some nice insight into all the post-game stuff that's been going on. Yeah, it's currently 1:31 a.m. for me because I am hosting this live from Florida. Not ideal, but I have no problem staying up late to talk some football. I don't think anyone really minds staying up late to watch Monday or Thursday night football or Sunday night football. I think it's always fun, especially for Friday night too. Friday night's such a huge thing for sorry for football in general, and it's just great to see. Sorry again. I mean, I really wish I could talk clearer, but I have a very I'm recovering from a sickness because for some reason everyone likes to get sick in Gainesville all at once. But yeah, so we'll just be waiting here in a minute for Kaylee to join. She was actually there at the game live, so she's getting ready to join us with her post game report. But yeah, a lot of a lot of a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff going on with these post game reports. I always love just keeping up with all these schools too, even though I'm from Florida, and they probably, you know, completely different time zone, anyways. But it has been very, especially since joining Varsity Sports Show, it's been such a pleasure to see all of these different schools and see what's going on and what's going on in the different side of the country. But yeah, it's just awesome. Man, this Gainesville sickness has hit me like a freight train. Man, I mean, it's getting better, thankfully. But yeah, and I definitely want to shout out Darius Kelly from Saguaro too. Like I said earlier, I had the privilege of interviewing him for the Arizona radio show a couple weeks ago. I was able to get to a lot of insight of what he has done for the school. This is his first year as a head coach. He was an assistant for them earlier, but yeah, I feel like he's done a lot of good for the organization. I am wishing him the best and the most amount of success going forward. And he's honestly just seems like a great guy. He played football for Syracuse, so that was great to see. That was great to see. But yeah, other than that, um, other than that, once again, as we end this show, glad everyone was able to tune in and listen to all of the post-game reports of what has gone on. My name is Adrian Carmona from the Varsity Sports Show. Once again, happy to have shared everything with you. I hope you all have a great night, and